All right, welcome. Today, we're going on a bit of a different kind of tour. We're not just going to look at buildings, we're going to try to decode the story behind them. So, get ready because we're diving into the pretty fascinating world of commercial real estate to uncover the hidden story of our skyline. I mean, you've probably asked yourself this, right? You see that shiny new office tower go up, or that big apartment complex on the corner. None of that is an accident. Every single structure you see is really the result of this complex dance between money, what people need, and a whole lot of rules. And today, we're going to break down exactly how that dance works. Okay, so our first stop is probably the most familiar one, the places we all call home. We're jumping right into the multi-residential market. And yeah, while that technically includes any building with more than one home, we're really going to focus on the bigger rental properties. You know, the ones with 5 or more units.
So what really shapes this market? Well, it's not just about throwing up some apartments. It's actually a super careful calculation. It involves big economic trends, shifts in population, like who's moving where, and of course, some really strict rules, like the Residential Tenancies Act, which basically governs the entire relationship between landlords and tenants.
You know, this market is all about a constant push and pull. On one side, you have what we call demand drivers, things like job growth, pulling more people into a city. But on the other side, you've got supply factors, which is the reality of what's already built and how much it costs to live there. Developers, they're constantly trying to analyze this balance to figure out what to build, where to build it, and what kind of amenities they need to add to actually attract people. All right, next up, we're shifting gears from where we live to where we play. And let me tell you, the recreation market is incredibly diverse. It covers pretty much everything from that quiet little bed and breakfast you might love, all the way to massive, sprawling resort complexes. And the variety here is it's incredible. You've got these rustic wilderness camps for a fishing trip, super chic ski chalets for a winter getaway, and charming B&Bs for a quiet weekend. This really isn't one single market at all. It's more like a collection of niche markets, and each one is designed to cater to a very specific kind of traveler and a very specific kind of experience. A perfect example of one of these modern niches is the boutique hotel. Now, this is not your standard chain hotel, not by a long shot. It's all about creating a unique experience. So think distinct architecture, a big focus on wellness or design, and really personalized service. You know, when these hotels pop up, it often signals a shift in a neighborhood, attracting new kinds of tourism and investment. They're selling a lifestyle, not just a place to sleep. This scale of these properties also varies like crazy. I mean, think about a destination resort like Banff. It has international drawing power. People will literally plan their entire vacation just around going there. Now compare that to a non-destination resort, say somewhere like Drumheller. It's a fantastic place for sure, but its main audience is typically people who live within a few hours' drive. It serves a more regional crowd. So, we've seen the what gets built. Now let's get into the how. How does a raw, empty piece of land transform into a major building? This is where we get to pull back the curtain and look at the developer's blueprint, the whole planning and application process. And let me tell you, it is a long and tough journey. It all kicks off with a preliminary meeting with the city, and that's followed by a mountain of paperwork for the official application. Then come all the crucial studies, environmental impact reports, sewage capacity, traffic flow. I mean, the list just goes on. And only after all of that is done does the proposal go to a public review and finally to the municipality for a decision. And that decision can be an approval, a flat-out refusal, or an approval with a very long list of conditions. Now, what's really crucial to understand here is that development doesn't just happen in some secret backroom. Public input is built right into the system. Through things like community meetings, public notices, and open houses, regular people, residents, get to see what's being proposed for their neighborhood and actually have their say. It's a really fundamental part of how our cities get shaped. For our final stop on this tour, let's look at the why, the financial engine that's really driving all of these projects. Because it's not just about building something useful. It's about the strategy behind the structure, whether it's for an investment or for a custom business need. In the commercial world, you'll find that buyers generally fall into 2 main camps. First, you've got investors. They buy a property purely to generate income, either through rent or hoping its value goes up. They never plan to actually use it themselves. Then you have users. These are the folks who buy or lease a property because their business needs a physical space to operate out of. So what happens if a business needs a really specific kind of building that just doesn't exist yet? Well, that's where a design build comes in. A developer basically says to a company, hey, tell me exactly what you need and I'll build it for you from the ground up.
Then you can just lease the finished product from me long term. It's a fantastic way to get a totally tailor-made space, and a surge in these projects is often a great sign for the local economy. And this is a very structured process. It starts by making sure the tenant's needs and their finances are solid. From there, it moves into developing proposals, first a preliminary one and then a much more detailed one, with architects and lenders involved. The final step is presenting a complete rent quote for a building that, at this point, might still only exist on paper. Okay, here's another really clever strategy, the sale leaseback. Let's say a company owns its own building. They can sell that building to an investor for a big lump sum of cash and then immediately sign a long-term lease to stay right where they are. Think of it like this. It's kind of like selling your house, but instead of moving, you immediately start renting it from the new owner. This turns their property into cash they can use to expand their business, all without disrupting anything. And the investor? They get a reliable, long-term tenant. It's a win-win. So when you put it all together, you start to see that every single building in our cities, it tells a story. It's a story about what people need, what the law will allow, and what actually makes financial sense. It's the intersection of those three powerful forces. So the next time you're walking downtown or maybe driving through a new part of the city, take a closer look. You're not just seeing steel and glass anymore. You're seeing the results of demand, development, and deals. You're seeing a story. And the only question left is, what story will it tell you?